I'm here in Northeast Indiana at the Allen County Fair, the 36th annual Allen County Fair. In this video, I'm gonna take you around and show you different things about the fair, but also I wanna talk about Fort Wayne because like many of you watching this video, you may never have heard of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and you're wondering, what is there in Fort Wayne, Indiana? What is it like? What do the people do? What's the culture like? Well, what better way to figure out the culture than to take you to one of the most popular attractions here in the city. What's happening?
Can I be in the vlog?
Can you be in the vlog?
Yep.
Say what's up, man.
What's up?
If you've watched any of my other videos, I make videos about moving to Fort Wayne. If you're looking to move to, from, or around Fort Wayne, me and my wife Francesca, we help people buy and sell real estate, but we also do videos that talk about other things besides real estate, because when you're moving to a different place, a place where you have no family or friends, or you've never heard of the place before, you're kind of apprehensive about what it's like to live there. So you can get a feel as you're comparing Fort Wayne to some of the other cities that you're thinking about moving to. The location of the Allen County Fair is actually kind of unique because it's off of Carroll Road. I talk about this all the time. I talk about the great school districts. Northwest Allen County is around this area. Carroll High School is off of Carroll Road. So if you come to Allen County Fairgrounds, you'll be on Carroll Road that takes you directly to Carroll Middle School and Carroll High School. So when people come to visit, I always recommend 3 areas to visit: Southwest Allen County, or the southwest side of town, off of Illinois, downtown, of course, right, to check out the 3 rivers, and then check out the northwest side of town. So if you're coming to Fort Wayne and you're trying to compare Fort Wayne to another city, if you don't come to the north side of town, you may be missing out. This is actually, I must admit, I'm a little bit biased. My kids go to school up here, my child goes to school up here on this side of town, and this is my most favorite part of town. Just like many other towns across America, there's a fair, a state fair, a county fair, but this is our special fair. It used to be held at the Coliseum back in the early 90s, but they moved it to this area because they wanted to facilitate more of the agricultural activities such as 4-H. 4-H is very similar to Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Girl Scouts, but it revolves around farming. So farming activities, raising pigs, raising chickens, riding horses, raising horses, all those types of things. So this fair showcases all of that, especially for juniors and younger adults. As you can see behind me, there's a competition now for the junior competition level for riding horses. They have the area where you pet the goats. They got the area where they have all the chickens and the horses and stuff like that. A lot of these young kids that are a part of this club, those clubs, they live in a lot of these other smaller cities. So it's kind of cool, actually, especially if you're one of those people. I personally believe that society is getting a little bit too attached to the cord. They're too attached to digital, you know? And living in Northeast Indiana and having my kids around essentially nature and some of the more simple things in life that I remember from when I was a kid, I think is another part of the culture of Fort Wayne, and something that I value at my age at this stage.
At this fair, actually, it's pretty cool. It's really big, and I did not know they had all this stuff, and we just got done eating some yummy barbecue. And my favorite thing about like Northeast Indiana is the small towns and the people in those small towns. I think it makes us really unique, that not many people know about us, but we still like get along just fine living
with that. I'd say a lot of the small town stuff, there's a lot of activities that attract people usually.
Like these fairs.
Yeah, like in Busco, where both of our families from, there's a Turtle Days parade that brings it a lot.
Yeah.
True.
Every kid learns about it when they're kids.
Yep.
You take that with you wherever you go.
Shout out to Huntertown, USA, Cherubusco, which brings me to another point. Fort Wayne, Northeast Indiana is small city adjacent. If you watched any of my other videos, I say that one of the biggest draws of living in Fort Wayne is being close to other big cities such as Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Indianapolis. But actually the inverse is also true. They have even smaller towns that surround Fort Wayne, and those towns are super underrated. Cherubusco, Columbia City, Angola, and Albion. I can say for a certainty, if you're thinking about moving to Fort Wayne and you're more of a rural small town person that likes barn doors, you want land, or perhaps maybe a lake, you can move even further outside of Fort Wayne to one of the cities that I just mentioned. A city such as Angola is actually kind of sort of like a lake town. You can find lakefront properties. And back before the pandemic, just like everything else, prices were a little cheaper. They're a little more expensive now, but I think it's something to look at if you're one of those people and you're moving up to Fort Wayne. It's like, I never owned a house on a lake. Angola, Northeast Indiana might be the right choice for you. The most important thing about living in any place in the whole world is the cost of living. And I've always talked about how affordable Fort Wayne is. And by affordable, I don't mean that you can live off of $2,000 a month, because I think if you only have $2,000 in income, it's going to be difficult across the board. But relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the United States, your buck can go further here, because we don't have to pay for high property taxes. We don't have to pay for toll roads. We don't have to pay for a lot of different things. The price of homes, for example, we're hovering around about $260 for the median home price. Okay, but you can get a decent house for $250,000, and you can get a smoking, slamming house for about $400,000. Me and my wife, Francesca, we're real estate agents. We help people move to something around Fort Wayne every single month. And so we noticed in the market that the average price point where the most activity is between $250 and $400. That's where it's the most competitive. Homes are starting to sit on the market closer to 3 weeks, but we're still in a seller's market, because the houses that are perfect, and I'm talking, they don't need a lot of repair, they're in a good area, and they've been well kept and appropriately priced, they don't sit on the market for long. And then there's also a lot of new construction going on in the neighborhood. I can tell you, just north of here, we're off of Carroll Road, and then past Carroll Road is Hathaway Road. We're near Huntertown. So Huntertown has been growing rapidly. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the entire state of Indiana, if you take out Carmel and Fishers down in Indianapolis. But Huntertown, since I've been here, the last 5 years, has almost doubled in population, and they're continuing to expand. They're adding on to the high school, they're opening up the middle school. They've brought Parkview Regional Medical Center continues to bring a lot of jobs here. Plus, we had the Google Data Center coming to Fort Wayne, so a lot more higher qualified, higher paying jobs are coming to Fort Wayne. So this area is just going to continue to grow. I always recommend that people, you want to move before it becomes oversaturated. Now that you know what the Allen County Fair has to offer, check out my video from the fall where we do fall fun at the corn maze, and I'll see you there.